I wanted to share a little bit about the story of In the Deep and how it all came to be. And it's very interesting because I actually made this track 3 years ago, and I was so close to releasing it so many times, but I always felt like the project was just not completed fully, and I had to trust in that. And when I listened to the track, I always saw this whole world of the underwater journey and the mermaid and the siren, and I saw it so clearly. I visualized the story, and I really wanted to make a video, a film to go, visuals to go with the track. But also back then, because a little bit of my backstory, I grew up in Germany, and I never really been diving then. I went maybe snorkeling once in a while when we were on holidays, but I haven't really explored the underwater world. But I always felt so connected to the myth, through water in general, through, things from the ocean, like shells and things, and it was all living in my imagination. So when I made the track, I'd never dived before, and it all just came through my imagination. But I kind of knew, and I wanted to really become the siren and not just imagine it. So I went on this whole journey of learning to dive. I did a whole year of scuba diving school, and I really explored the underwater world in Australia. And I started free diving, I started mermaiding and the underwater movement, and I fell in love with it. It just became such a big part of my life, and I still had the vision of In the Deep in the back of my mind the whole time. And yeah, I visualized it and I wanted it to happen. And funnily enough, the first underwater shoot that I did was for Diving for Light, and that taught me so much about underwater shooting. Even though it was in a tank and it was a bit more controlled, I learned how to be in camera in front, in underwater, and to act certain emotions underwater and just experience the whole doing of it. And then a big life chapter for me closed, Australia, and I was moving back to Europe. And in the transition, I stopped over in Bali, and I was there for 2 months. And for me, it felt like, okay, this is like my chance to do In the Deep, because I was also there with my mermaid sister and also my instructor, and she kind of brought me into the whole mermaid world, and she taught me freediving, and I really wanted to do this project with her. And so we were in Bali, and I was also in a transition period, so I was emotionally, it was intense for me too, and I did not have a big budget. I was really just going with the flow and trusting in the timing, and then we kind of looked at the moon and the tides and situations, but there was really only one day that it worked out for her, it worked out for me, and we had to trust that the ocean will meet us, because with underwater shooting it's beautiful in its own way, because it's so uncontrolled. Like, you cannot control the ocean. You don't know what the visibility is like, you don't know what the current is like, and all that affects the light as well. If it's sunny or not, it all affects shooting so much, so you can't control that. But I did pray to the ocean. I prayed to the Sisters of the Sea, and just allowed it to unfold how it's supposed to be, and trusted in that. And then the team, as we shot it, we were like, it was a small team, 3 people, including me, and another mermaid sister who came up to be safety. We only had a boy, and with that, like a little swimming device, what do you call it, like the noodle, where I could rest in between takes, which was attached to the buoy. And my sister, like Dom, who also shot the underwater footage, she was freediving, which is mind-blowing to me, because I mean, freediving itself and doing the diving is already a mission, but she filmed while doing that. And yeah, it was just very beautiful. And we went in, we had a beautiful experience at the wreck, and we even saw a turtle. Like, the turtle was just, you can't plan that. The turtle just arrived like a blessing from the depth of the ocean, like a blessing and from the deep. And yeah, it was just beautiful experience. It was probably about, I don't know, it was a few hours of shooting, and I went down and up and down, and it's exhausting too, being in that tail. But it's just something about when I do my art and when it's for my art, I have this like infinite supply of energy that just comes to use which I did not have or would not have if I was just gonna go for a fun dive. I would get tired and I'd be like, okay, that's enough. Like, I want to get out. I'm hot. Face is burnt. But when I'm doing art, I'm just so focused, and I love to do it. And I was very sunburned afterwards. But apart from that, I was just really, really happy. And yeah, I just accepted that this is the footage that I'm gonna get, and I'll see what I'll do with it. And then happened another opportunity to shoot another day with Shay, who did some of the underwater parts, but he was scuba diving. So because I really needed to redo the lip syncing parts, or I thought I wanted to focus more on that part, because these were a bit tricky to get it exactly right with the song. And yeah, so we redid that. We took some photos too, and got the rest of the footage that I needed. And in the end, I feel like really, really happy how it all came together and what I ended up getting. So yeah. What I also have to say that, like, with the journey of going deep, for me, it was not just going deep into the oceans literally. It was also about going deep into the depth of my own emotions, my psyche, and is kind of a little bit of a continuation of Diving for Light, because Diving for Light is, for me, it was the first kind of the initiation of like, let's go deep and just surrender into that. But in the deep, it's like, okay, we're down there, we're in the depth, and that's where the treasure lies. And yeah, for me, it really is about that. I want people to feel the depth of the ocean, but also to allow themselves to feel their own depth, because it's a reflection, and the ocean represents the subconscious of the collective, I believe, symbolically. And there are so many parts of the oceans that we haven't explored yet. We only know a fraction of it. And it's so fascinating to me that also when you jump into even just a shallow ocean part, you're still directly connected to the deepest part of the ocean, to the deepest parts of the earth. And there's creatures that we can't even imagine yet. And I think it's very fascinating, and it kind of reflects and relates to our own inner depth, because we have shadows, we have shadow aspects there that we've never faced, that we don't know about until we allow ourselves to go this deep. And it feels like an infinite exploration to go within, because we always experience more and find more treasures, but also shadows. And oftentimes it is through facing the shadows that we get to the treasures. And another part of the film talks about bioluminescence. And it's such a miraculous thing, in my opinion. But again, it's such a reflection, because we too have the ability to generate this own inner light that we have, and connect to that. And we don't always need stimulation and inspiration from the outside world to feel that light. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to go within and be still and allow the light and the treasure to reveal itself. And sometimes it's through working and sitting in these uncomfortable emotions and seemingly dark spaces that we get to that place. And yeah, for anyone who's watching this, I really want to encourage you to know your courage, to know that you are strong to face these depths, and that you're so much more and so much deeper that you can even ever conceptualize. And it's really, really worth it to go there and to allow yourself to explore yourself and your own inner emotional depth and your own psyche more. And when we do that, we then can connect to others on such a deeper level. Because when you meet someone else and you can see their depth, and sometimes they may not be able to even feel and see their true brilliance and beauty, but you can help them by seeing that, or even by just being in your own depth, by being in your own strength. You bring that out in others. So yeah, I hope that the film has inspired you, or if you haven't watched it yet and you found this video first, you can go and watch my film In the Deep. And use headphones. Also, it's very interesting because I released the track first before the film, so I actually think it would be nice to just experience the music first on its own and see where your own imagination takes you. And maybe it's not even in the ocean, you know? Maybe it's another feeling and another images and journey that you experience. So allow yourself to go there and then watch the film afterwards, and it's a different experience. So yeah, sending lots of blessings, and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. By the way, this incredible place I am. I just stumbled across this location up here. It's in Kash, in the south of Turkey, and I went for a dive yesterday again after 6 months of not diving, and I really, really needed to experience the ocean again and feel it. And yeah, it's something that will forever be part of my life, and I'm planning to do many more projects underwater, so stay tuned.